most important thing for you is to chill. Is that right?
Some people, when they say, oh, I'm chilling, it sounds like you're not doing anything, but it's really about chilling all the time, no matter what you're doing. It's the one thing that nobody can take from me. You can't make me not chill. You can't make me chill more. It's mine. It's me and God's.
So the question is like, what allows you to be successful?
Friends may say, hey, I notice you're a lot more calmer. How did you get that way? I always am cringing because I'm like, if I say this, then I probably won't end up doing it, for a while. So I'm very cautious about that.
Is that because like what's happening inside in a way, in the internal work, it's holy? All right, here we are today. Vyasa, welcome, my good friend. Thanks for taking the time to be here. Let me read a little bit about you and we'll jump right in. So Vyasa Smith is an integral yoga teacher. He currently lives at Satchidananda Ashram Yogaville and serves as the Yogaville Academy administrator. He enjoys traveling, hiking, and studying yogic scripture, Yana yoga specifically. So, hey, thanks for taking the time.
No problem, Avi. Glad to do it.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a little while now, I would say. So finally, the time has come.
Finally.
All right. So here's the first question that I have for you. And something that we talk about a lot, and I know it's a priority for you. What do you say that chilling, relaxing is your top priority? Like the most important thing for you is to chill. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Chilling to me. I mean, when you say it, some people, when they say, oh, I'm chilling, it sounds like you're not doing anything, but it's really about chilling all the time, no matter what you're doing. And so that's really what I mean when I say, oh, I'm chilling. Any other thing I say, like I tried to use other things, but it just didn't show or express how I really felt. So, but the chilling word really does it. So yeah, chilling all the time.
So what does that word mean to you?
Well, chilling is just chilling. I mean, you're relaxed, but still doing things, whether it be work, your responsibilities, whatever it is in life that you have to do, you want to be chilling while you do it. And so I've said that word ever since or that phrase, I should say, ever since maybe I was 20, 21. And it's just stuck. It stuck with me. And so, yeah, chilling to me just means relaxing and also not caring whether or not somebody thinks you're chilling too much. You may be saying, often enough times they say I'm chilling and people think, oh, you're not busy. You don't have anything to do. And that's not the case. I'm usually doing stuff, but I like to be chilling. So yeah, just chilling.
So even I think one of the things you're saying is like, it's like on a deeper level, how you relate to other people. So like a part of the chilling is like not really caring if someone else thinks that you're doing enough or what you're doing. Like that's like a deeper level of maybe acceptance, relaxation.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, also you could even take it a step further, Avi, and the chilling is more on the inside. It's not really an outward appearance. It's not, meant for that anyway. In my mind, I always take it internally. I'm chilling internally. I'm trying not to get excited. I'm trying to keep myself calm. And so on a deeper level, that also means that for me.
And why is that so important to you?
Because for me, internally, it's the one thing that nobody can take from me. You can't make me not chill. You can't make me chill more. It's mine. It's me and God's. And so you can't take that from me. No matter what happens on the outside, no matter what anybody does to me, that chilling phrase sets that bar for me. Yeah. And so I like saying it a lot, but also for that reason, you can't take it from me. So yeah, I like that.
I love that you said that it's mine. You can't take it from me. It's mine. Would you even say it's almost like a birthright?
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I think it's a birthright, just like me being black is, like you can't take it from me. I'm not changing it no matter what you do to me or what happens or what circumstances I come under. I'm chilling. And so, yeah, it's like that for me.
It almost feels like the equivalent of what Swami Satchidananda says about maintaining your peace above all else. Like that's what I'm hearing you say. Do you also like equate that to maintaining your peace?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm chilling, I'm at peace. And it kind of sounds corny when you say I'm at peace. If people are like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm at peace. So
Language.
yeah, language. So yeah, the chilling part, I equate with Satchidananda and always maintain your peace. And that's really what I'm trying to do. When I say that to people, I'm chilling, or they ask me, it's really for me. It's not about letting them know how I'm doing. It's reminding myself that I'm chilling, stay calm, stay chilling. So it's a reminder for me. As much as I say it out loud, it's just to remind me as well.
What helps you be successful in doing that?
Well, prayer, I will tell you. Prayer throughout the day, doesn't really matter what time. I don't care what time it is. I just do it whenever I feel the need. I guess, yeah, that question is, repeat that question again to me, Avi. I just want to make sure.
Like what allows you to be successful in your chilling, in maintaining your peace? Like what helps? Like what I'm hearing you say is like you've elevated this to like the top shelf of priority. And then we've talked about this before. It's like, this is my like number one priority, is to be in this relaxed, peaceful state. Right. So now I know what my intention is, but getting there, practicing that is a different thing. So the question is like, what allows you to be successful in meeting that intention? Yeah.
Yeah. I would have to say a lot of it is the mind. I'm a Yana yogi, at heart, and I really, really like that path. And, being successful at those things, or, chilling or keeping that peace, to be successful at it, you really have to watch the mind, is what I want to say. You really do. It doesn't seem like people do, but I think that people do it more than they know. And I would have to say, to do it consciously, I mean, it's everything. I guess the prayer in the morning or whenever you want to do it keeps you successful at that level. There's many other things I'm trying to think of. I don't want to just make anything up, but
yeah. But if I can just pause there, because I think what you said is amazing about watching the mind, right? Yeah. Like that might be the most important thing, at least from my perspective, right? Like just to watch the mind. Is that what Yana Yoga is about? Is observing the mind, would you say? Or how would you define what Yana Yoga is?
Yeah, Yana Yoga for me, is observing the mind. Just looking at, not necessarily looking at the thoughts, but watching the thoughts. Something comes into your mind, and do I need that or don't I need that? I mean, it's always that constant type of thinking. If you're into it like that. And that's what it means to me to observe the mind or be aware. It's just an all day thing, especially when it's negative. That's really when I think a lot of us really watch the mind, when we start noticing it coming up with negative things like, I don't like this person, I don't want to do this thing, or whatever it may be. When it's negative, it really pops out. With the positive things, it's very hard. Everything's going well and great. But when it's negative things, I think it's easier for me to practice the chilling. Because I'm like, waiting. Yeah, go ahead.
What an interesting point that I think you're bringing up. I've never heard anyone say that before, in terms that it's actually easier to watch the mind when I'm experiencing maybe negative emotions as opposed to positive emotions. That, because my initial reaction was, well, that it's more challenging, right? Because like I'm deep in it and it's hard, and therefore I don't want to watch what's going on. But I think the point that you're making is really important too, because when I'm in a positive state of being, right? Often I'm so happy that I'm in the positive state. Like I'm not looking to why am I, like what's happening in there.
Right.
And maybe there's more benefit actually to observing myself in a positive state so that I can learn, well, what factors cause me to be in a positive state? And then by being aware of those factors, perhaps I can replicate them if that's my goal, to be in more of a positive state.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, watching the mind, you're absolutely right. Watching the mind is all of it, the good and the bad, but it's a lot easier when it's negative. The positive too. But yeah, so in short, Avi, I would just say that it's just a constant thing, and it's nothing that you can do. This type of what I'm saying here, watching the mind, it's not like you do it for a week and okay, you've got it. Like this is years going on where you're just constantly, and you may not be able to do anything about it, but just watch it. But it's years, and I don't want to say it takes everyone years, but the mind is so slick and trick that you really, it takes years to even catch up to what it's doing to you after you've been observing, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is what is going on. Like, wow. And yeah, so it's a process. It's not I'll do it tonight and I'll be good, or I'll only do it when it's, it's years and years of just doing it.
Maybe a
and looking
lifetime.
at the mind. Yeah. And I think, it appears lifetime because I don't see any end in sight. So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. The observation, just being aware more and more, I'm becoming interested in just like, what are the effects of that? It's like often like, I want to know what I'm going to do with that. Like, okay, now I'm aware, like I need to solve this problem, but I'm having more and more interest in just like what the effect will be if I'm aware. If I can be aware, then there'll just be a ripple effect that comes from that awareness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. It definitely makes sense. I agree with that 100%. And it's that right there that goes on in my mind throughout the day. It's that line of questioning, that why, or, and going deeper into it. Sometimes, it's that process. What we're doing right now is exactly the process that I would do on my own in my mind. Okay, why are you feeling this way? Did you eat right? Did you sleep enough? You go through all the things that you're supposed to do that are healthy for you. And you're like, okay, no, I haven't been exercising, and no, I haven't been drinking enough water. So let me do that first. And then let's come back to see how I feel. Do I still feel upset? Do I still feel the same way about a situation? And that is a part of Yana yoga, I think, as well. Doing that. And I think we all do that to some degree. So that's wonderful. But yeah, it's a process, and there's many ways. And that's what I want to say, Avi. There's many ways of doing it. It doesn't have to just be prayer and then being silent. There's just so many ways that you can observe the mind. And and going back to what I said earlier, that's mine. You can't take that from me. I imagine that's what Mandela was thinking. Like, okay, I'm in prison, but I've got my mind and I've got God. And so you can't take that. I can, understand things more in solitude, than you can when you're busy. And so, yeah, that's really what it means to me. And that subject is just,
when I hear you,
go ahead.
Yeah. What I hear you saying a little bit is like, no one can take away the process of our own internal work.
Yes, exactly. No one can judge it. Not, no one can say, oh, you're not doing it. You don't know. No one knows what somebody is doing. And, judging it from the outward appearance doesn't tell you anything. You would have to literally have a conversation with someone like we are now, speaking, sitting down and getting to know a person. You're not going to be that. That's why I like it so much, that Yana yoga, because you can't tell whether I'm doing it or not on an outward. Maybe how I treat you or how I act may be something different, but it's not an appearance thing. You know what I mean? And I like that. I really relish that. That makes me happy, because I feel, and we talk about it, Satchidananda talks about it, when you tell people what you're doing as far as your internal work, your spiritual work, it seems like the moment you say it out loud, what you're doing and how you're practicing, it falls away. Like, then maybe that day you don't do it. You know what I mean? You're like, crap, I told everybody that I was, doing this, and now I'm not doing it. And it's just, and that for me always happens every time I reveal my inner true spirituality, my, revealing to somebody, oh, this is what I do. And I don't know, for me, it ruins it. Like, it's like that. It's like the bond between the spirit and me is broken, because now I'm telling people what I'm doing, and it's no longer just me and God. It's this person and that person who knows, and now they're watching me at noon every day to see if I meditate. And it's like, it just ruins it. So yeah,
I want to reiterate what you said there, that the bond between me and spirit is broken
for a little bit. Yeah. I don't want to mean permanently, because, it's never permanent. It's never like that.
Yeah.
But then I have to get back on it. And the way that I do that, like I said, the bond between me and God is just between me and God. I don't explain it to anybody. But when you do, friends may say, hey, I noticed you're a lot more calmer. How did you get that way? I always am cringing, because I'm like, if I say this, then I probably won't end up doing it, for a while. So I'm very cautious about that, telling people.
Does it matter the reason why we're sharing it with other people? Does this have an effect? And what I mean by that, it's like two options stand out in my head. It's like, sometimes when I'm telling other people what's happening, for me inside, it's about maybe being impressive. And it's probably like that more of the time. And when that is like, maybe the goal is that to make myself look good, or trying to manipulate myself to be seen in a positive light, I couldn't agree more that something there is broken and lost. That's been my experience too, when I do that. But if it's genuinely coming from a place of sharing it as service to someone else, like, why am I speaking these words? If I'm speaking it to them because I think maybe it could be a useful tool for them to investigate, that perhaps that would have a different effect. What do you think about that?
I'm glad that you went a step further in this conversation, because then, as a Yana yogi, then I stop and observe when a person is asking me, hey, what are you doing differently? If I talk to that person on a regular basis, if they're close with me, we've shared conversations in our lives, I feel less like it's, me just blabbing it out because it's a friend who wants to know. And, so I think you're right. It depends on how it's helping someone. I'll put it this way to make it very simple. I don't like, and I'm not in the business of telling people what I'm doing. If you come and ask me and I feel it's genuine, because it's me that you're asking, and if I feel it's genuine, I usually go more in depth, like we are talking now, and I'll say that, and go on and on. But it's a tough situation. That is very tough when it comes to deciding when you should reveal what you do and when you shouldn't. And it's situational. It's really situational. Because if someone's it's energy. If someone, like you said, Avi, if someone's coming to me, they're distraught, and they're wondering, wait a minute, you seem so calm. Tell me, of course, I want to help. And so I'll say it. But if it's just leisurely, we're in a group and we're talking, we're eating at lunch and everybody's going around the table talking about their practice, I don't like that. And I ain't going to be the one to participate in it. I don't like it. I ain't telling you nothing. And not just for conversation. There you go. Not just for conversation purposes. To help, yes, when someone really needs it or in distress, but not just to talk about. Like, no, I don't like it and I don't do it.
And is that because, like, what's happening inside, in a way, in the internal work, it's holy, right? Like what we're doing inside, like our relationship with God, it's a holy thing, right? So that's what I'm hearing you say a little bit, is like, it doesn't feel appropriate maybe to just, like you said, just be throwing this stuff out and, in conversation while we're eating, and not identifying that what we're talking about here really maybe calls for a certain amount of respect, in a way, and attention.
Yeah, definitely. And on an intimate level, I'll tell you, and I've heard this many times in spiritual communities and places, and in books that I've read, that it's like when you reveal your personal work that you do with the Lord and your that kind of thing, it's almost as if you're telling people about it. It takes some of that energy away. That I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like it takes that energy away. All that striving, all that work that you're doing internally, and when you just speak about it, in normal circumstances, it feels like it's not as strong, in my experience.
Yeah. It depends. I think what you're saying is really, really important. So what I think about is the person open, right? Like, is their heart open to receive? And this is really like the art of life and sensing that, like, okay, here's this person here. It's like, are they in a place where they're really open to receiving what it is I'm going to share right now? And if that feels right, I will. But this happens to me all the time when I'm having conversations now. It's like, I know someone's not paying attention to what I'm saying. Like, they're multitasking or doing whatever it is. I just stop. I just stopped. I'm like, why am I speaking to you right now? Like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not going to continue talking. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And I think it's also, if I was to be honest with you, it's also a personal thing. Like, for me, I don't know, it's more personal because I don't know how to put that. It's just more personal to me to do it that way than any other way for me. I just don't, for me as a person, I don't like to reveal what I'm doing as far as internal work, and really for anything, like, until it's done, I really don't like mentioning it. And I've noticed sometimes I do, and I'm like, oh, I told people the thing, like, let's say you're going for a job and I'm going to apply for this job and and then maybe you find out a little more about the job and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, you done told everybody. What you're doing. So, like, you're going to get the job and now you don't want it, so it's like that, with spirituality. It's, you tell everybody, I've been meditating every day for over 6 months and I'm an avid. And then that one day, they see you not meditating and it's like, crap, I look like a liar, or, you know what I mean? And being in spiritual places or wherever, and just life, you learn to just keep your mouth shut until the task is done. And in this spiritual type of world that we're doing, work that we're doing, the work usually never gets done. So it's like,
so just keep your mouth shut.
So just keep your mouth shut, because the thing that you mentioned that you shouldn't do, people say, oh, I'm not having a good time. And it's like, well, did you meditate today? And you're like, no, but did you meditate today? Like, you as the person asking, did you do that today? And so you did it for a week straight. Now you know so much about it, so that's why I like keeping my mouth shut about the practices. Unless, like we talked about, somebody needs help.
Just like considering this relationship that we have with other people. And I've been thinking about, like, it's really not my job to impress you. Like, it's really not my job to do that.
Right. It's just not. And you feel like you do sometimes, because you want to be there for people. You don't want people to think, oh, he's useless or you're useless. But as you go through this process, you realize, I don't care if you think I'm useless. Like, that is irrelevant. Like, I'm here with God, and that's all that matters. My thoughts are with God majority of the day, if you can try. And so that goes away. The need to please is what it comes from. I want to please you. I want to make sure that you get enough information from me that you're satisfied. And it's like, well, if you didn't, then you didn't. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And I think that's a part of spiritual maturity as well, is do your best, but if they didn't like it, oh well, like, there's nothing else more you could do. And what would you do more? You know what I mean? To impress them. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I strongly feel that way about my spiritual practice and what we do. So yeah, it's good.
Do you observe that you've grown since your time here? You've been here, what, at least 4 years spent, right? 4 or 5 years living at the ashram?
Yeah, so I arrived in 2016, and then I left for about maybe 9, 10 months. And then I came back 2017, and I've been here ever since. So I was here for 8 months in 2016, then I left and then came back, and I've been here ever since.
So now I'm basically doing that, asking you, like the more personal question for you to describe something that maybe you don't really want to talk about.
Right. That's okay.
But I say it more from like a place of like your relationship with yourself, like because I'm very interested in positive reinforcement, not as like a delusion, but just in reality, like, is the truth that you've changed a lot and grown a lot since your time? Like, is that the truth? And if it is, like, to acknowledge it, because by acknowledging it, my goal is to keep growing, I would say, right? Like, the goal is to keep growing. So by acknowledging growth in a way, that positive reinforcement, will that lead to more growth by giving myself like encouragement, like, oh, okay, like you've done a lot of good stuff and there's more to go, and keep going, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't disagree with that statement. You definitely grow, and I think the biggest growth part is, for me, and I think for some people too, is realizing that it's not just in the place that you learned your spiritual things, how to be or whatever. It's everywhere. You can do that everywhere. It's nice to learn it at a certain spot. And it's okay if you stay at that spot. That's not a problem. It's thinking that it's only here or wherever you started. You know what I mean? Thinking, oh, if I go anywhere else, it won't be the same. And it's like, no, you are the thing that makes it what it is. And so I've learned that a lot here. That's been probably the number one theme, is it's everywhere. Don't be afraid to go outside your community and think that you won't be able to have the same thought process, the same attitude that you do when you're at a spiritual place. Sometimes it happens, but that's up to you as the individual to keep practicing after you leave a spiritual place like this, and to keep going. And if you need a refresher, that's cool too. Everybody gets a refresher and comes back, and I think that's great too. But just know that it's everywhere with you. And so that's helped a lot. That mindset has helped me to be okay with wherever I'm at in the world, and for whatever reason. And so I'm glad for that. I'm very, very thankful to Guru, to teachers around the world, teachers here at the ashram. I'm very, very happy that I learned that. And that's something that I can't give back to this place. I can't do enough. I can't volunteer enough. I can't give you enough presence. I can't serve you enough in the way that it has served me as a place, not as individuals, but as a place as a whole. What they've given me, a knowing of myself, a more in-depth knowing of myself. There's no way I can repay that back. And the best way I think that I can do that is by having that perception, having that mindset of I'm godly wherever I go, and doing right by the next person who comes along wanting the same type of help or guidance. So yeah, that's something that I'm so thankful for. I can't even give words to it. That's how grateful I am. Like, I'm completely overjoyed with that knowing.
You just slip something in there that I think is huge. I'm godly wherever I go. I'm godly wherever I go. So that's a powerful statement, to feel that I am godly, right? That you are godly. So do you feel that about yourself, that you are godly?
Yeah, but not in the sense of like, oh, I'm godly and look, not like
better than anyone else. That we're all godly, right?
Yeah,
we all are.
We're all godly. I say that because the reason why I chose those words, and the reason why I say that, is because there are moments when I'm not meditating, when I'm not trying to be, I don't know how to put it, yogic, and it's still there. The conversation with God is still there. The wondering of why is this or why is that is still there. And so that's why I say that, like, oh, I can be godly wherever. Like, it's in here. It's all in here. It's not out here. And so, yeah. Yeah, I hope that answered that.
That does. I love the point that you're making here, kind of about the vehicle of not getting too. It feels like it's a little bit of a trap. And I think Gurudev talks about this trap too, that you get attached to the vehicle that was helpful in connecting you with the source, right? But it's a little bit of an illusion. Gurudev speaks about the signpost, right? The honoring the signpost. So like the destination is Boston, and you see a sign that says Boston, 200 miles away, and you start and going to Boston is what you want to do. You had a great experience when you go to Boston, like same as connection with the God. It's God. So what do? You start praying to the signpost itself. So, and I think he relates that to scriptures and books and maybe the Bible, right? So it's like the Bible have the ability to connect you with God, with source, with a higher way of being. And that's a wonderful, wonderful, amazing thing. But instead of just working like what you're talking about between my direct connection with that source that I have access to, instead, I'm going to feel that I need the Bible to get me there, when the truth is you don't really need the Bible. Everything is the Bible.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I can't agree with you more. It's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. I think as human beings, I think you need it to start off with, and for however long you do need it for. But there is that certain something where you now know how to, I don't know how to put it, access it. And it could be through the questioning, Yana yoga. It could be through meditation. It can be through hatha yoga. You know what I mean? But you now know, I think at a certain point, for me at least, I now know how to access it, without having to do a whole bunch of stuff to get there. Gratitude is one. Like, thank you, God. Thank you. I don't have anything else to say, because if I say anything else, then we go down this, forward of, how do I get it and why don't I have it? And so just thank you. Just that's it. That's all I've got for you. And if you can get there on your own, I don't want to say on your own, because we all need each other to get there. But if you can access it like that and tap into it and start to feel love and compassion for yourself and for others, then that's it. And if you do that through hatha or meditation, that's great. However you do it is perfect. It's wonderful. But it makes you more confident, knowing that you can tap into that, whether you're in a dingy apartment, a wonderful apartment, wherever you're at, you can get there, and it only takes a moment. And so, yeah, I like that a lot. And that's what it means to me. I don't need someone there's no more, it used to be, but now there's no more needing of guidance, in a sense of running to someone to say, help me. How do I get connected again? Like, you know how to get connected. You're just not doing it,
I love that. Like, yeah, you know how to do, just practice and don't pretend like you don't know anymore.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
You need to do.
Yeah, exactly. You know what to do now. So, and like I was telling you earlier, this place helped me with that. Satchidananda Ashram helped me with that. And like I said, that's nothing that you can give back. Like that's amazing to me, that there's no way I could show enough gratitude or do enough things to show you my appreciation. But to do right in the world, to do right, that's the only thing you can do, is just do right. And yeah, I find that's just incredible to me, because I'm a service kind of guy, and I think a lot of us are. We want to serve people, we want to do well for people. And when you come to a point where you're like, I don't know how to thank you for this, like this is amazing. Like, I just don't know what to say. Like, wow. So yeah.
The thank you, I want to ask you about that, the connection with gratitude, and really just feeling thank you. Do you think that this is kind of in rare supply, like in the world, like generally speaking, where there's not a lot of this, like really feeling like thank you for the experience of our lives going on, that there's maybe a lot of focus on what's wrong and fixing problems, as opposed to attention on just saying thank you and feeling that if I'm doing that, I'm doing part of the work. That if everyone shifted towards more of an attitude of being grateful, that the world, the ripple effect from that would maybe fix a lot of the problems.
Yeah. Of course. I think, anytime you're thankful for anything that you have in your life, I think it could definitely change the world. Gratitude can totally change it, even if it was just once a day. I think we just all get wrapped up in our lives and you miss those thank yous. And to mention on that point, it's not every time that I say thank you that you get there. You get to that connection and you're there. Boom, boom. It could be some days and some moments it's just thank you, God. And that's it. And then I go back to doing whatever. It doesn't have to be. And I think that's what you're talking about as far as the world and doing that. I think a lot of people don't do it as often, in my opinion, because they want that feeling like if you're in deep prayer, you start getting that love, that compassion feeling, and whatever else you do. But sometimes the thank you is just a thank you, like just thank you. And then you move on and keep going throughout your day to the source with internal, and maybe that's all. And I think that sometimes is all that you can give and all that is needed. It doesn't have to be this thank you, God, and for the food and for every it's not like that. It's a recognition of something higher than you. It's a respect. It's a love. It's that. It's all the combinations of treating something with kindness and love. And some days, I just want to say thank you. And some days you don't. You want to be like, there are many days that I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying thank you for, but I know it's coming. Like, I know it's deserved. I know that the thank you, like, I don't have to wonder, like, what am I thankful about? No, you need just be thankful. So that's how I wanted to tell you. I think that we in this world are always looking for that feeling. And if what we do doesn't give you that feeling, then you think it's pointless. And I don't think that at all. I don't know why. No, I do know why I don't think that, because I've experienced it. One day you may be doing hatha and you don't feel anything from hatha, but the next day you do. Like, I don't know what to say. That's how it is. You're not always going to get a good feeling from.
Is this the reason to chill? Because
yes.
We're just on this ride. So just like stop analyzing it so much. Like, okay, it was a good day of yoga. It was a bad day of yoga. Like whatever it is, just like, I am going to be on this ride and just notice as much as possible what's happening along the ride.
Yeah. It's the ride. Hence the chilling part. Like you said, like there's so many times where you're not satisfied with what you've done or, what you're doing. You're like, I know I could be better, but it's like, okay, well then do better and then just leave it alone, drop it. And yeah, I think I do believe that, approaching it this way, I believe that approaching it this way for me has allowed me to relax for me, and not be so tense in doing things or trying to, be the number one person for that person. Just trying, I don't know if I'm talking in circles here, but there's a confidence, there's a level of when you're in your own thing and you're doing your practice consistently, there's just this whole level of confidence, like, and I'm going to put it very, relaxed, like, but I don't care what you think about me. You know what I mean? It's God loves me. I'm loved. Like, I don't care what you are disappointed in, it's irrelevant. God loves me. And I know that. And as long as you know that, you can proceed in whatever you do. And for me and for others like yourself, it's meditation, it's hatha, it's Yana yoga. Whatever gets you there, man. If it's crocheting, if it's, rowing, whatever gets you there, that's your way of getting there. And that's your boat. They say, to get across, you need a vehicle, something, and then you have to drop that something. So at some point you'll have to drop the thing that get you there, but you'll know that when you get there. And that's just all there is to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, kind of back to what we were talking about with the vehicle. Yeah, the vehicle can be honored. That's what I'm hearing too. Like the vehicle is a wonderful thing. It's not to be belittled, but the vehicle is not everything, right?
Yeah, it's not everything. And we see it all the time. I mean, you've seen it too, like people who are sick as a dog, just sick, and internally, outwardly, they've got lesions on them or something, but there's still that thing that's there with them that, they still treat people good, even despite all their crap. Yeah, it's amazing. The vehicle is amazing.
But going back to what you're talking about, is like not letting other people shake you in a way, their impressions of you. Like, what I hear a little bit is like the sense of like wholeness, and I just am what I am. Like, I don't know about you, but like I got so sick and tired of all of this, like judging myself, like, how good am I, and comparing to other people and all that. It's like what social media, the game of that is all of the, it's just trying to boost ourselves up, because maybe this sense of wholeness and completeness, that's not there. So because I don't believe it, I get swayed really easily, jerking back and forth. So is that what you're talking about a little bit? Is like this relationship with yourself is getting to this place of wholeness. And then from that place, now I can be on the ride. Now I can be a lot more successful with my chilling, because I'm just a human being. Like there's nothing to take too seriously about who Vyasa is, right? It just is.
Yeah, it just is. It's exactly right. It takes some time, but yeah, to get to that point, it's freeing and liberating to. And I don't want to say it's any special way of being, but if you can get to that, that's where you want to be. Like that's it, man.
And that's how children are, from the start. They don't question, who this is just how I am. And then this weird thing happens, I think, where now we start to question our own value. Yeah.
Well, for me, because you see other people who kind of are in the same situation, but you look at them and they're doing much better. In your mind, you're like, God, they're doing so much better than what I'm doing. Like I should be like them. And no, you shouldn't be like them. You know what I mean? You should be yourself and maybe incorporate some things. Like for me, I'll give you an example. I've been a procrastinator a lot of my life. But when it comes to certain things, I'm on it. So it's like, for me, I had to really forgive myself for being a procrastinator. Because, when there are things that need to be done, I'll get it done. But sometimes I'm a procrastinator, and being okay with that took a lot of time. It took, okay, you're a procrastinator. Could you do better? Yeah, but this is what it is right now. And you call it a day and you just do better than you did before. But yeah, it's a lot of that. You see other people that you think, man, they've got it together. And you're like, oh, okay, so I should go do that. And that's what gets you like that you were saying, that gets you going, oh my goodness, what should I be doing? And you're all over the place because you're trying to follow someone else's roadmap to yourself. And that's not going to work. You know what I mean? And so when you look at that, it helps you like, oh, I do like some of those things that person's doing, and I can incorporate some of it, but I don't want to do exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, it's like that for me. And I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. Back to the procrastination. I'm curious about this, that kind of what you're talking about, accepting that you're a procrastinator in some ways, right? And saying, okay, that's allowed. That's okay. Has that acceptance led to less procrastinating? Has it affected how much you procrastinate? The fact that now, like, you've allowed it, you're not judging yourself for that to being like a bad thing. Has that changed how much you procrastinate?
Yeah, I would have to say what's changed. The only thing that's changed on that for me is now it's not on my mind. You know what I mean? It's not on my mind to be worried that, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. I don't care if you are or not. As long as it's not all that. I don't know how to put that, because there is a level to where you don't want to procrastinate, like somebody needs you, you don't want to hold it off. So it is kind of like, you need to be aware that you are a procrastinator, but stop worrying about it. Just do better. When you know you got to do something on time, try to be a little earlier for it, or get it done a little earlier. But to worry about it, like, oh, how am I going to change this? What practice do I need to be more aware of? I don't have time anymore for that kind of stuff. I'm a procrastinator. I notice it, and we'll do better. And that's really as far as I'll take it these days. I just, because it's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you and the people who will view this. You're it's just constantly on your mind about how you're not the area that you want to be better in. You're not. And it seems like that thought is just always there. Dang it. There goes me procrastinating again. Man, I should. No. Enough. Like, I'm being good to myself. I'm trying to be better. And that's all I've got. It's not an overnight thing. The things that you want to work on yourself is not going to be an overnight. The first thing is, in what we're talking about now, is Jnana yoga. Is it in your mind first? Because that's where it starts. Do you notice, like for me, the procrastination, like I'd be in the moment of procrastinating, like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then you stop and you think, well, why don't I want to do that right now? And you may go down that Yana path of, I don't want to do it right now because I don't like doing it, or I don't agree with it. And so you start understanding why you're not doing it. And it may be irrelevant at the end of the day. You can go down that whole path and it's irrelevant. Just get it, get it done. But what I'm saying is that thought of, I'm not doing better in that area, I kind of give myself a break. I do. I give myself a break now. And I don't know if that comes with being older or going through many things in your life. I don't know what that is, but yeah. I would have to say, just to end that part of it, is you really got to understand, and I don't know if this is out of context or character, but it's something that I definitely want to say. I think it happens for all of us. There comes a point in your life where you just realize nobody is interested in your spiritual growth as much as you will be. Nobody. There will be no one on this planet. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your guru. I don't care who it is. Nobody is more interested in your spiritual growth and your love for yourself and for everyone else than you will be. And that's really what I really want to say, is they just won't. Nobody will be more concerned with it than you will. So
why is that important for you to realize that that's the way it is?
Because I think that a lot of times when you're not doing the thing that you think you should be doing, you go to somebody and you say, help me with this, I'm lost. And it's great to get help from others. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, as you're doing that, and as you're talking to someone about the lack of that's in your life, remember, like for me, I have to remember, I'm telling them this and they're going to give me some good options. That's great. But they don't care about it more than I do. There's no way you could. And so when you don't do it, and I've done this before to people, this is how I know, you try the thing that they told you to do and it doesn't work. And you're like, you go back to them, well, this hasn't worked. And then they give you something that this hasn't worked. And you realize they're helping you out, but they're not going to be there for, like, let's say Guru says, meditate more. Okay. And maybe you do meditate a little bit more, but whatever, not enough, or however you look at that. And you go back to him and say, I've meditated. Well, he's just going to tell you, okay, well then do this. And then you're going to go do that. And you'll go back to him and say, okay, it's not working. He's not interested whether, he's interested in whether it works for you. I would assume. I don't know him. I'm not trying to do that, but it just seems like nobody cares. Like, not nobody cares. This is not, I don't know how I'm trying to.
I think what you're saying
please,
is like, this is a very personal experience that we're having.
Right.
Is that what you're saying? It's like, just acknowledge that, like, our relationships with ourselves are very intimate, and we know ourselves better than anyone else is ever going to know us in a way. They might see stuff that we don't see, but like the totality of who we are, that information is more for us.
Right. That's what I mean. I didn't mean like the guru doesn't care. It's just, he's only going to take like he can't do it for you. Nobody can.
He might show some blind spots.
Yeah, some
right?
some blind spots. That's great. Yeah, I'm all for that. But like to assume that somebody cares more about your spirituality than you do is just nuts. It's just nuts. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe it. I never have and I never will. Nobody cares more about you than you. Nobody does. And
it's like in a way that's like maybe a scary thought, because it's like a burden to like take control of your life, but taking control in that kind of a way and saying, okay, I'm in charge of my spiritual growth, like maybe that's going to lead to the liberation.
Yeah. And it's a scary thing knowing that, oh, wait a minute, it's just me in here doing this. And, it's between me and it's a very like, oh crap, I don't know if I'm able to, if I'm up to the task of doing that, but you are, we're all here and you'll do it. And we will do it. And everybody. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that. Just keeping that in mind, which is hence the chilling part, chill, because nobody cares if you're chill. Nobody in here, nobody cares if internally you're chill. Like, what's that got to do with them? So that's why I like the term and using it in my mind. I'm chilling, just chilling. Yeah. Yeah.
Final thing I want to ask you about and I don't know how this relates to what we've been talking about, but I just want to mention it because honestly, with you, it's like, it's one of the most apparent examples of what I'm going to say that happens. And that's, okay, so we've talked a lot about the internal experience that we're having in life, but then the effect that we also have with each other and being in a relationship, as like our energy is being shared, right? It's like with you more than anyone else, like you bring out this certain lightness in me and silliness. Like I'm like I don't know if you know that because you only know me when you're hanging out with me, but like often when I see you, like you just bring out this like very childlike nature in myself that I love. Like I love it so much. And like maybe it comes from I think it does come from your priority of like being like relaxed. Like let's just have fun. Like let's be peaceful. Let's have a good time. Let's honor our time. And so I just noticed that like the effect that we can have on each other like that's not the intention, but by doing this internal work and like really coming to this place of like relaxation and acceptance and everything, like using me as an example, like by you doing that work, like you're very positively affecting me and giving me in a way permission to open up and have more fun in my life.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you very much for that, Avi. I'm glad that you said that, because not often enough times do you realize that about yourself, what you're doing for folks. And you just don't. And I'm glad that you said that. I think a big part of that is, the always laughing or smiling is because what else are you going to do? I just don't know what else you can do. Like, what do you mean be serious all the time? Or, when people say, oh, you're always laughing, is there something else to do? Like, I just don't understand.
There's nothing else that feels as good. Right?
Yeah, nothing else feels as good. Like, why wouldn't I be laughing? And I get it, all the time, people say, but you're always like that. That's just, me, because some of it is not always, some of it's nervousness too. Some of it is I'm laughing because I'm nervous. I'm laughing because I'm happy. I'm laughing because I don't know what else to do. Like, and laughing helps me. For me, laughing is a good, it helps me internally get over things. But yeah, you just don't know what you're doing for people until they tell you, like you just told me. So I think that's wonderful. And that also is inspiration, because in that it's a little clue as to whether or not you're on the right road. So as you tell me that, I'm like, okay, so what I was doing or at whatever I'm doing is okay. It could always be better. Everything can always be better, but it's okay. Like I am helping someone be a little looser in their life, even if they don't tell me every day. And hearing you say that is like, oh, so I'm not so far off. Like, you know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, that is the disadvantage of not sharing your practice with people. Now earlier we were saying all the advantages. There's a disadvantage that I'm at is me not sharing my spiritual way or whatever stops me from getting the encouragement I need to keep going, like you just did to me. So yeah, that there's a downfall to that. So yeah, it's a give and take.
How about this though? That I think we are sharing, right? But the difference is between just sharing and sharing with words, right? So like putting words in their proper place. I think a lot about the limitations of words. Like words are amazing. They allow us to communicate, right? But like it seems that we're like addicted to them and we think that words can describe like everything, right? When they really can't. So in terms of like sharing, right? And I think that's what's going on too, like in terms of our deeper spiritual experiences. Like they're so hard to like describe, like, when I really go to that place, like I'm really going to describe what this is like to someone else. Like it's ridiculous. Like words can never describe what's happened, but who I am, that can like, so it's like the ripple effects from doing the work yourself, that is being shared by your presence. Much more than your words.
Yes. Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree with that. And Avi, I don't mean to go back so much, but you were asking me we're on the same page here, but when you were asking me about, sharing your spiritual practice or letting people know what you're doing in that regard, we were talking about that. The one thing I wanted to mention was hearing Satchidananda talk about it in his books or other gurus is I really took it to heart when they say, be careful about who you share your experiences with, because a lot of times you're going to get an opinion back. Well, I don't know if you should do that way because, blah, 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 studies come out. And the more you get, for me anyway, the more opinions I get about what I am doing, the less I get secure with myself. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not, and then so that's another major reason why I don't like telling people what my spiritual work is going on in here, is because you get the opinions and it's not an opinion thing. Like you know what I mean? It's not, for me anyway, it's not an opinion. I don't care what you think I'm doing. I'm doing it and it's making me happy. If it wasn't, then I guess we should look at it differently. But so that's the other thing. And I've heard so many people, so many great gurus, spiritual people speak about it. Like, no, you don't want other people's opinions, which is maybe why they went into the mountains, into a cave, because I don't want to hear what you have to think or have to say about my spiritual work. And I think it's important. If you're not looking for it, I think it's important. So I agree with that. Yeah.
There's like a purity in figuring it out on our own, right? Without any other kind of bias or anything. Just like, can I look at this objectively? Like what is going on? And can I trust in what I find? Like, I don't need validation from someone else. Like this is the truth, the way that I see it. And that's it. That's the truth.
Right. Yeah. It's because in order for someone to truly be able to advise you, they would have to know everything about your life, or you would be telling them. And there are things, whether you do it subconsciously or not, as you tell somebody your story, there are things you're going to leave out because they're maybe too embarrassing or you know what I mean? But everything contributes to why you're feeling that way in the moment. So if you are not truthful with someone, as you're saying, okay, this is going on in my life and I need it, blah, blah, blah. There's some things you're leaving out, like the fact that you were lackluster in it. You know what I mean? And so there's that other reason who, unless you have that person in your life that you've told everything to.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
It's impossible.
Exactly. So it's like, so that's how I feel about that type of thing. Like, that's just how I feel. No one really knows me. I know myself. And and like I said, it's not all that we're talking about here. It seems like you don't need anybody. That's not what I'm saying. I definitely think you need community. I definitely think you need good friends around you, a good peer. I don't take any of that away. I wouldn't be here speaking about it without other people. So it's not that. I'm just saying there's a certain point that if you've been practicing, or maybe if you haven't, but if you've been practicing, there's a level of, okay, enough of all the the stuff coming in, like enough learning, more books to read, more sutras, enough. Either you got it or you don't. Like, that's how God has spoken to me. Like, look, dude, you've read tons of books, you've practiced yoga for a long time. You like get with it. Like, you know what I mean? Just do it, live, be. And so, yeah.
Live, be, relax,
yeah,
chill.
Live, be, yeah. You're going to figure it out. And that's what I want to tell people is you're going to figure it out. It's not like God gave certain people the know-how to get to him and he left you out. If you want it, you will figure it out. It may be a long road, but you are going to figure it out. And everybody will. If you want it, you will figure it out, and nothing can stop it. Nothing, not a person, not a loss of a job, not a loss of another human being will ever stop you from getting to know yourself or becoming the best version of yourself. It can't be stopped. If you're looking for it and you want it, you'll get it. It may be a long road, but you will get it. And knowing that and having that, just knowing that God didn't leave you out and took everybody else, knowing that you're included and you have the right to live your life any way you want, and you'll still be a godly person, and you can still be, man, that's powerful. And that you can't take away. You can't take that from me. And that's, I think, huge. Like, that's huge. That's everything. That's everything. That enables you to do whatever it is you want to do in this world. And if you don't want to do anything, that's great too. It's everything. Knowing that you got God with you and nobody can take it away, and you will get enlightened. You will. People say, "Oh, you're not enlightened." Don't listen to those folks.
Is it God's trying to show you?
Yeah.
And just allow him to show you.
Yeah.
Or her, whatever it is. Allow God to show you.
Yep. Allow God to do it, because he will. It will happen. It will happen. You will happen. It will happen if you want it. If you don't want it, I don't know what to say to you. But if you want it, you're going to get it. Like, that's just all there is to it. And no one person is going to be the only, it's not going to be one person that gets you there. Like, you think, oh, if I just meet this guru. No, you may meet that guru and you still ain't got it. Or if I meet this one person, if I meet this movie star who I think is so great, then no, it's you. And that's great. I know it's scary at first, but that's great. Ultimately, it's you. And he didn't leave you out. You're included in all of this. So I would like to say that to people, like, don't worry about enlightenment. Enlightenment is whatever you think it is. It's whatever you want it to be. It's wonderful. It's love. It's treating people with kindness. I don't know. It's not just one way. It's not just, oh, you're enlightened if you look a certain way and you stand a certain way and you say certain things. I'll get out of here. That's not a determination. I go with the rule of how I know somebody is, quote unquote, enlightened, or what I think about that is how you treat me. That's it. You treat me like you treat everybody else. And that could be bad. Like, you may treat me horrible, but if I see you treating everybody horrible, that means you're just being you. You're treating everybody the same. Same thing, good. Like, it depends on how you make me feel. And I notice that enlightened people that we assume that are enlightened, they make you feel like you're somebody. They make you feel like they make you feel like you're not somebody. They make you feel included. It's not so much paying attention to you, like, oh, how are you doing? But it's just, they treat you like the same, no different, no worse than they would treat anybody else. And that to me is everything. That's what I think an enlightened human being is. How you treat me. Do you notice my insecurities and point them out and tell you know what I mean? Like, that's not somebody who makes me feel good. Somebody who makes me feel good makes me think that I can do it too. I can be just like Satchidananda, and there's nothing stopping me. And yeah, so that's what I think about enlightenment. I think it's about how they make you feel, how they treat you when you're horrible and you're not good at something, or you're not good and right then and there. Are they still good to you? Like, do they still treat you kind, or do they dump all over you because you're not doing what they want? That to me shows me an enlightened human being. So yeah, I'm not impressed with the magic tricks and the Shakti pod and all that. Oh, get out of here. How do you make me feel? You make me feel like I can be somebody, like I can do this. I can live here in this world and be my own. And
you have a right to be.
Yeah, I have a right to be. And even if I don't want to do anything, say I don't want to become anybody. Maybe I don't want to be number one at something. That's okay too. And that's how those people make you feel. Like you're okay just how you are. Relax. And so that's an enlightened human being. And that could be you, Avi. All my friends, I've got a lot of, no, I should take that back. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances, but the friends that I do have, they make me feel good. And those people are enlightened to me. I like all my friends, you, Zach, anybody. I always look at you like, wow, like amazing, like, holy crap. How do they do all that? And then like when we meet, and I know you're busy, you still manage to hear one or two words of what I've got to say. And that's huge to me. That's huge. And that to me means you're enlightened. I'm like, oh, that's an enlightened being. He's handling this. He's got a family. He's good at work. He's kind to me at work. And he's kind to everybody else. Like, that's enlightenment.
It just goes back to what you say. It goes both ways. How do they make you feel? And that's why I kind of brought this up, to say that the effect that we have, and that's what's wonderful on our path of growth and learning, is that the ripple effects that come from it could give us great encouragement, right? That by really doing this work, it can positively affect other people and give them encouragement. That's my fire. That's my motivation for really getting down to it and say, okay, I want to clean myself up. I want to get clean. Like if I'm serious about service and doing good for other people, that's the best way I'm going to do it, is just by becoming more and more genuine and whole and clean myself. That's the motivation.
That's yeah. You got it.
Yeah, man, Vyasa, fun. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we did this. Like I said, we've been talking about doing it for so long. So all the time we'll be having conversations, and it's just like we should be recording this right now. Like, what are we doing?
Yes, every time. I know, it's crazy. Every time we talk, we're like, we should record this. So I'm glad that we finally got to do this. And I'm genuinely in great gratitude to you and to the ashram and to the people who run the ashram, who've been here from the beginning till now. And even if they weren't here and I didn't meet them, I'm just in total gratitude for the people that I'm around. And it's just a wonderful experience getting to know everybody here. Not that I'm going anywhere anytime soon, but it's just, like I told you before, there's not enough gratitude to show you, even as you being my friend. There's just not enough. Like, all I can do is say thank you and do right, because this is amazing. I don't think many people, hopefully when people see this, they know that it's just nuts how connected you can get when you're away from the hustle and bustle. And the things that open up for you are just amazing. And I will say this, people who want to come here for an extended period of time, do know this, that as you get here, it's all new and it's great. And you will come to a low where you hate everybody and you're like, oh, this whole place is just nuts. You'll get to that. But if you can see that through, and I can't tell you how long it lasts, because it could last a year, it could last however long you want it to last. But if you can get through that part where you just hate everybody and you think it's the crappiest place to be, and if you can get through that, I promise you, if you can just wait it, you don't have to do much. You just got to wait it out. You got to wait it out. And if you can do that, I'm telling you, the fruit of it afterwards, because it's an adjustment period, because you get on the high, everything's wonderful. And then you come to the low, and people don't like the low. And they're like, you know what? This low is lasting too long. I'm out of here. If you can get through that, I promise you, the nectar, the fruit is just it's so good.
That's any low. I think what you're talking about is true for any low, any really challenging experience that we're going through. If you could just be with it,
and hold on,
just allow it and hold on. It's becoming more and more of my refuge, is just to have patience when I am in those kind of ruts. Yeah.
So it's great. Like I said, I'm loving it, and I'm just loving it. I think it's great, and it's good stuff.
Well, it is good stuff, man. And I'm really grateful to have you around. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And thanks for doing this today.
No problem. I'll be glad to do it.
All right.
All right.
Later, brother.
Take care later, buddy. Bye.
Home.
Home.
Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this content and think others might as well, Please feel free to share and subscribe.